Hi, folks. Andrew here, Top Fitness Strategies. I am the face who runs the place. And today we got another video coming at you, another interview coming at you. Of course, it's a video. That's what we do here. And this is going to be, and I always say it on the different side, but this is more different but the same. And you'll understand this. And I say this like if you do a pull up or a chin up, they're the same but different. You'll understand as we go on with this. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring her on right now. My guest today is Nina Manolson, who is a body peace coach and nationally certified health and wellness coach, psychology of eating coach, certified body trust coach, certified intuitive eating coach, and now you can also say you were a guest on Top Fitness Strategies. Welcome, Nina.
Oh, Andrew, thank you so much. I am just thrilled to be here with you.
Well, fantastic. All right, now I brought you on because I saw you and listened to you on several different podcasts and video casts, and we have a lot in common. You and I do, especially over the. We work with the folks over the age of 50. At least that's my target audience. And
Yep.
now you work with everybody basically. I know that because eating involves everybody. I understand that, but I do want to focus more on the over 50 crowd, if that's okay with you.
Yes, that is a sweet spot for me. I do work with women, pretty much over 30, but I'm over 50. That's tends to be who walks through the door for me.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
My first question to you, and I'm sure everybody asks you this question, so I'm sure you're gonna. It's like a band always playing their greatest song all the time, and after a while, that's okay. I get it. But what is a body peace coach?
Yeah, it's actually a great question because when I get on a plane and somebody goes, "What do you do?" and I say body peace coach, it's like goes right over their head. Who knows? But how I explain it often is I am a relationships counselor, except for instead of being a woman and her partner, I'm supporting a woman being in relationship with her own body and food. So, body peace coach is someone who helps us get out of the struggle, get out of the war, get out of the constant shame attacks that come at us when we look in the mirror after we just ate a meal. Body peace is really about how do I feel truly at home in my own skin.
Interesting. So I would assume you have some sort of background that made you transition into the body peace coach. And another question is this a whole? I don't want to call it a network, but because I've never heard of a body peace coach, and I've been in this fitness and health thing for a long time. Is
Yes.
this certification that you've created, or is there a whole clientele out there of body peace coaches, so to speak?
Yeah. So I actually have trademarked body dash peace. So body peace
Okay.
is my trademark. And
Okay.
as from the intro, you can tell I've been at this work for a long time. I've been working with women in their relationship with their body for over 30 years.
Mhm.
So I've done many different flavors of this body liberation work. And in my experience of really diving into the vulnerable parts of how we feel in our body, how we feel about our food, has led me to develop this whole piece of work, which I call body peace. And that has really resonated for people because it's what we want when we're feeling like, oh, I hate my body. Oh, I can't believe. We're like, oh my gosh, could this stop? But then what our culture says, which is wonderful now, which is, well, then just love your body. And we get into this flip of body positivity, which I could not be more thrilled that it's now a word in our culture. But
Mhm.
for many of the people I work with, that idea of being body positive or just loving my body feels too aspirational. It's sort of like out there in the far beyond. And I'm supposed to every day get up in the morning and look in the mirror and be like, I am just phenomenal. I love myself so much. And that's not real life, especially as we're aging. Lots of body challenges come up,
Mhm.
whether it's changes in our ability, changes in how we look, changes in the quality of our skin and our joints. All different things shift, as goes with aging. And sure, there's ways we can
Mhm.
be strong, we can take care of ourselves well, but being in that shift of what kind of body are we living in is a big sort of orientation, a shift of orientation, when all we're
Right.
told is just love your body. Just look. And I tried, literally. Louise Hay was my guide, and 10 years of I love my body in the mirror, and all that happened was the mirror laughed right back at me and was like, you don't. You're just trying to do this like switch of a mindset shift. But
Mm-hmm.
really changing our relationship with our body and our food is an inside job.
I
It's
I
healing work.
100% agree with that. Now, what you're going to find out with talking with me and the people who listen and watch me know this, you are so much more classy and refined than I am. All right, I'm more of the in your face. You don't like the way you look, then do something about it. And that's my way of saying love what you got. But if you want to love it more in your eyes, whatever that means, do something that's going to change it. Being depressed of the way you look all the time and not doing something about it is not going to help you. You can
Okay.
okay. Go ahead.
I'm going to
Go ahead.
interrupt you, Andrew. I want to
Yeah.
interrupt you because yes, and yes, do we
Okay.
want to make changes? Absolutely.
Yes.
And sometimes do we get to these places where we feel stuck? There's like literally every single client I've had for years and years have been like, I know exactly what to do, Nina. I know exactly what to do, but I can't make it happen. Right. And that's where people like you and I come in, which is support
Mhm.
people in terms of making that next step to make it happen. But sometimes, often, there's an unraveling, an unlocking that needs to happen to work through the resistance. Why is the resistance there? Why don't I want to go to the gym? Maybe because when I was a kid, I was told I had to climb up that ridiculous scratchy rope. And I did not have that kind of strength. And so I sat at the, literally, this is my story. I sat at the bottom and felt less than. So, did it make me want to be in competitive sports? Absolutely not.
Mhm.
Right. So, is there some unraveling of our body story around movement, around food, around the size and shape that we're in? Yes, we have to do that inner work. Just like if you went to couples counseling with your mate, with your primary partner, and said, I don't know why, but we always get into this fight at this time. Well, let's look what happens. What happens when we invite company over? Oh, I think that you think I'm not doing enough, to hostess. I think you're not doing enough to help in the kitchen, right? Old patterns come forward. So these
Mhm.
old patterns come forward and we need to unpack them. We need to really look what is going on. What's the belief inside that's fueling this conflict? And so I'm 100% with you of like, you want change? Let's make change happen. But sometimes there's things that are obstacles in our way, and we need to unpack that. And especially for women in relationship with our bodies, one of the primary things we need to unpack are the expectations that a $72 billion diet industry put on us, that our body was wrong and that we better fix it. And the way to fix it was to restrict.
Oh, I mean, once again, refined, not refined. As we go through this, refined, not refined. So you said a term in there that I wrote down as one of my questions because I've heard you say it often. I want to make sure that we understand what this means. You said the
Mm-hmm.
term relationship with your body. All right.
Yes.
So and right away when somebody hears that, I mean, I can assume it. I can't shouldn't say I can assume because the first time I heard it, I just went, okay, relationship with your body. The more I listened to different podcasts and videos you were on, and the more I read that, I'm like, what exactly does that mean? A relationship with your body? And maybe this isn't
Such a
a
great
question that
question.
can be.
And
Oh,
this
okay, great.
question,
Okay,
I
so can
love
you
this question so much. Because it gets down to the real core of the why do we feel bad about ourselves? Right? So many of us don't actually even live in our bodies. We live in our heads. Oh, this is
Mhm.
what I believe. This is what I think. And we say, okay, body, you down there below neck, you should go off to the gym. and work out. You down there should eat more vegetables and drink more water. You down there, right? But what if we go down into our body and listen, and our body goes, okay, yeah, movement would be good. And we're like, okay, no, you movement person, body, you
Mhm.
go off and you should do this specific kind of workout. And our body goes, I don't think so. That's not going to resonate with me. Okay, body, well, what do you want? What would support you? Well, I don't know. I kind of like to be a little more dancey or a little more fluid. I don't want to be doing just straight, fitness, like calisthenic type of weights. I want something more lyrical. Oh, okay. Well, let's honor that, right? That's being in relationship. What does this body, not what should I? It's not a top down relationship. It, again, if we come back to what is it like to be in a relationship with another human? It doesn't feel very good if someone's always being the boss and the other person is just supposed to like, oh, okay, I'll just do what you say. No, the other person has an opinion and feelings and wisdom. Same with our brain and our
Mhm.
body. If we're always like, you do that, you do, what happens, and what I see most, and I imagine you see it too, Andrew, is this place of like, wait, you want me to do what? I'm not doing that. And our inner rebel comes up and is like, talk to the hand. I am not. Right? We want to be allied with our with our body. That's the relationship we're looking for. We don't want to be at odds because that's not sustainable.
That's awesome. That's awesome, and it reminds me of a story. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Before I started doing all this fitness training, certified trainer, stuff, all that. This is about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I was at a gym and I hired a trainer because I wanted to get back into it because being a high school, college athlete, then I got away, coming back. I said, let me hire a trainer. And she was great. She was young, and I was 40-ish or so years old, whatever it was, 35, 40. She was younger than me. She's in mid 20s, early 20s. Put me through a workout for about 45 minutes or so. When we were done, she goes, okay, I want you to keep doing this and we'll come back next week. I look at her, I said, no. She goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm not doing it. And she looked at me puzzled. I said, I don't like what we did. I don't enjoy it. It's not going to be something I want to keep doing. And this is the same kind of philosophy I have with my clients. And when I talk with folks, I said, let's first of all, you don't have to be the gym rat to pick up iron and chrome all the time if that's not what you want to do. There are
Right.
thousands of things we can do. My whole goal, especially if you're over 50, over 60, is let's get you moving your body some way, shape, or form. It's something that you like to do.
Yes.
Because if you don't like it, you're
Yes.
not going to keep doing it. So, like you said, dance, great. Doing something different, great. If all you want to do is walk around the block, great. But make sure it's something that you enjoy doing so you can keep doing it.
Yes. Well,
Does
what
that make
you're
sense?
touching on, oh, so much sense. And what you're touching on is so um, in the fiber of being a human. Pleasure. We
Hmm.
want to do things that feel good. It's
Yeah.
our innate, we're pulled to pleasure, right? And same when people are having a relationship with food. Oh, I should eat this and I shouldn't eat this, and this is bad and this is good. There's no winning in that game, right?
Hmm.
This weight
Hmm.
is good, this weight is bad. This body shape is good, this body shape is bad. There's no winning. And honestly, by the time you get to our age, like we're done with trying to get this right or wrong. Let's actually just enjoy being in our bodies for as long as we get to, right? As my mom, who's 91, says, you're lucky if you're aging, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Great. That's a great philosophy. I love that. I love that.
Right? So let's do it, but let's do it in a way that feels where we feel like this is a pretty good place to live instead of let's fight this body and let's fight our food and let's manage and let's control. That's very different than I would like to change something here in this system of me and my relationship with food and body and movement such that I feel more vibrant, such that I feel like I am worthy, and that the number on the scale does not still determine my weight, which many women have been doing for 40 years.
Oh, absolutely. And and you hit on something just now that I wanted to bring up. Where is it here? And I want to make sure, because I did something I usually don't do. I wrote out some questions ahead of time. Usually I'm just off the cuff a little bit, but I'm trying to discipline myself more to not be so off the cuff. So I'm writing down a couple of questions. Now I can't find where I wrote the question. So, but anyway, you mentioned weight, and this is
Yes.
a subject that I write a weekly column for a local newspaper as well, and I put this on the column. It's going to be it's going to come out next week. Too many people, and you can talk more about this than I can. They base their whole health
Mm.
mentality on whether or not they gained a pound according to the scale. And I
Yeah.
say, don't look at the scale for your health. Um,
Yes.
for your health, I don't know what I want to call it here. What's the word I'm looking for?
For your
Yeah,
well-being, for your sense
yeah,
of
yeah,
self.
yeah, yeah. That
Absolutely. I am with you 100%. 100%. Because that scale, that number on an inanimate object suddenly has so much power over your sense of self. It,
Mhm.
what I see happen is the number defines women's worthiness. I see the number makes somebody go, oh, so the number's down. Oh, great. I'm a good person. Oh, the number's up. Oh, boo, hiss. I'm a bad person. And as such, I should deprive myself of food so that the number goes down, right? Or over exercise and strain my body such that the number goes down. And then, yay, I get the gold star one more time of being worthy, because I'm this random number that I've decided that is frankly completely different every time you get on the scale, whether it's morning, it's night, you pooped, you drank water, you were out in the sun. Like, it's not real. It's completely arbitrary.
Mhm.
Honestly, I could go on and rant about this, because if I could get into people's brains, there's many things I would change. But one of them is this idea that there's a number out there that they should be. How did that, and when I say how does that end up defining us, it ended up defining us because not through medicine, not through our health system. It actually, the whole scale thing came out of insurance.
Mhm.
It comes out
Oh,
of a completely other field that the medical model absorbed, not having nothing to do with our well-being.
no, oh man, you hit something that here's another silly story I'll tell you. And speaking of the insurance and everything else, so a few years ago, I switched companies, and long story about that. But right away, because you have to put down your height and weight and blah 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 and send it
Mhm.
to them, and all of a sudden I get something back and say, well, we're going to charge you an extra $50 a month because you're overweight, and we want you to get on our wellness program until you lose the weight. And I went, stop, wait a second. Yeah, am I huskier than the average guy? Yeah, I'm also a lot more muscular than the average guy, and that's not a bragging thing. It's just when you look at me, you can see it.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was in a fun little stupid competition I had with several of my friends, where every couple of days we'd take a picture of ourselves without our shirt on and send it to each other. Hey, I got more muscles than you. I'm more defined than you. One of those silly things, with a bunch of
Yeah.
guys. So I said, you know what? I'm going to send this wellness coach a picture of me flexing a little bit and see what they say about it. So I did. And I got an email next day. Well, we decided that you don't have to be on this wellness program because you seem to be okay. I'm like, well, wait a second. Yesterday I was way too fat. And now all of a sudden, and I sorry to use the word fat, but that basically what it came down to. And all of a
Mhm.
sudden now I'm not. So and I said, you can take that still silly scale of yours or silly matrix and throw it out the window because that means nothing. And
It
just an
does.
insurance company wants to get more money by just arbitrary numbers that mean absolutely nothing.
It means
So,
nothing. And Andrew, one of the things, and that I do is I actually write poems, body
Okay.
piece poems. And one of the poems I want to share right now, sort of like the way you're telling the story to illustrate the point, I wrote a poem called I'm Not My Numbers. And it
Okay.
really gets down to this idea of how we define ourselves by
Okay.
something that has nothing to do with us, really. So
Okay.
here's the poem. It's
Sure.
called
All right.
I Am Not My Numbers.
Okay.
Plus 10 pounds, plus 10 pounds minus $1,000, plus 10 clients minus 500 calories, plus 1 year of life. I've been told that these numbers are essential, that they define me. I should strive towards some and flee from others. But this collision of numbers doesn't add up. I'm not a number. I'm unquantifiable. My essence doesn't fit in a digital system. My value cannot be ranked. I'm not the number on the scale. I'm not the number in my bank account. I'm not the number of my clients. I'm not the number on my bra strap, on my jeans, on my dress. I'm not more. I'm not less. I am enough. I'm changing the metrics, recalculating the equation, plus being at home in my body, minus the inner critic, plus working with passion, minus societal expectations, plus pleasure at the table, minus the rules, plus being truly human. This adds up.
Wow. That's great. That is great. So,
Thank you.
how long did it take you to write that, to come up with that?
Oh, honestly, my poems are very different. There's some that just kind of bloop, out they come. And there's some that's like, it's like a wrestle to the ground. Um, and I have two amazing editors. Both of my children, who are in their 20s, are slam poets. They are poets
Oh,
and have
okay.
competed at the state level in
Oh,
slam
wow.
poetry. And so they actually are my are my toughest critics. I'll write a poem and then they'll be like, okay,
You guys
look at that. Rethink about that. This, no, show,
you
don't
guys
tell, so
you
that's
gotta
how they
tell them,
are.
say, "Hey, you better watch I should change your diapers, so better watch it,"
That's
you know?
right. That's right. But they're
Okay.
really, they're supportive and wonderful.
All right. A couple of things, and I know I'm gonna be skipping around here, and because this really intrigued me. And when I saw it,
Mhm.
and I got to bring this up because I'm sure what I'm thinking is totally not what it is. You're a certified intuitive eating coach. Now,
Yes.
right away, the guy in me who loves to eat pizza and pasta say, "Hey, I can be an intuitive eating coach to anybody as well." But obviously, that's not what it is.
Right.
So,
So
what is it?
yes. Okay. So intuitive eating is a whole approach um, that was created by Elise Reich and Evelyn Tribbley, and they've written a book, Intuitive Eating. Um, I love their work. I don't totally love the title of intuitive eating because I think people mistaken that. Like, well, if I just listen to my desires, I'll just end up in like a box of chocolates every day. And that's intuitively, that's what I want, right? Just like you're saying with the pizza. But
Mhm.
what it really means is it's listening eating, it's connected eating, it's embodied eating, it's considerate eating, considering our whole self, it's compassionate eating, it's eating from a place of, wait, what's going on in my body? What am I also feeling? Right? Because some of us eat because we're feeling uncomfortable in some way. We're either feeling very sad, even very happy, and we reach for food. Okay, so I'm going to intuit. I'm going to go inside and consider the fact that I've got a strong feeling. I'm going to go inside and consider the fact that, gosh, I haven't eaten in a while. My blood sugar is probably really low, right? I'm
Mhm.
going to consider all the different aspects. And that's what's intuitive. It's and why it's intuitive and versus like not intuitive. Not intuitive is picking up the latest, greatest book that some guy wrote that's making $1 million that is like, okay, great, we're gonna tell everybody that their body's wrong and they should cut out this and this and this, and now be eating this and this and this. Then fast forward 10 years, no, you should be eating this and this and this, and cut out that and that and that. Right? There literally are these trends of how
Mhm.
people eat over the decades. Intuitive eating is, wait, what's your kind of eating? When people come to me, I'm not interested in having them eat my way. I'm interested in having them eat their way. What does your body need? What makes you feel good? What really supports your system? Because
Mhm.
really, and I know, Andrew, this is your jam too, is
Mhm.
what is our wisest teacher is our body. It's right
Absolutely.
here. And so to look at somebody else and go, oh, let me do what they're doing, we're missing a very key component of bioindividuality, which is you have a unique body, and she or he is worth listening to and considering.
Oh, that is beautifully said. Beautifully said. It makes me think about and I say this all the time as well. Yeah, I if I had my druthers, I would eat pizza, pasta, and drink beer. Absolutely. Now, would that be healthy? First of all, no. Is it going to keep me
Mm-hmm.
happy the way my body looks? Probably not. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I am also an adult. I've been through this for years and years and years. With like my clientele over 50. You're over 50 years old. Intuitively, or just by being part of society, you know what's healthy and what's not healthy. Why don't you
Right.
go away from the stuff, or don't indulge in stuff that is not healthy, and indulge more on the healthy stuff? No one's going to say you have to eat a salad for lunch, or eat an almond for dinner, and glass of water for breakfast. No, of course not. Be smart about it. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Saying this?
It makes a lot of sense, and the I would language it slightly differently, because I
Okay, good.
think people, it's so this idea of healthy and not healthy is so laden with judgment for us at this point. We've had
Okay.
years and years of people saying, "Oh, that's not healthy." Well, honestly, for me to enjoy, I don't know, a dessert every once in a while is very healthy, because if I restrict, then I'm for sure going to set myself up for a binge, right? So
There you
to
go.
get
Yep.
out of this idea of healthy versus not healthy, and into more of a, what supports me, what makes me feel most vibrant, and what do I know? And this speaks to what you were saying of like, we know we've been around for a decade or two, right?
Mhm.
What does my lived experience tell me, right? Do I notice that in the summer, when there's more fruits and vegetables around, that I have more energy and that I'm moving more? Do I have more energy? Do I notice that during the holidays, when I'm eating just, more pastries and more sweets, that I'm a little sleepier? Oh, that's an interesting thing to notice. So how do you want to play it, right? Because it's
Mhm.
fine, we can go through holiday times being sleepy and curled up on the sofa, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're wanting a little more energy, then what would support that? But so important to unpack the shame of food, so important to unpack the shame of looking in the mirror and seeing a body that is rounder, or is not in this sort of buffed
Mhm.
perfection that our media says, right?
Right.
Letting go of that shame and judgment and being self compassionate is so important, and harder, easier said than done.
Wow. Once again, refined, not as much. Refined, not as much as we go through here. All right, Nina, I only asked for a half hour of your time, and we're about up. Tell people how they can find you, what you offer, all kinds of stuff there. Go ahead and do what you need to do there.
Yeah. So you can find me at my website, bodypeacewithnina, all one word.com. And on there, you'll find a very powerful practicing body peace journal. And in it are 5 of my poems. But more important than the poems are 20 questions. 20 questions that if I was sitting with you and we were talking about your relationship with your body and food, that I would ask you. And they're there to invite you into the inquiry about how is my relationship with my body? What would I want to change around my relationship with my body and food? How long have I been in this pursuit of weight loss, right? And feeling bad about myself. We want to start unpacking. So that's one place to find me that's very powerful. If you're an app kind of person, I just created a Body Peace app that you can find on the Apple Store and Google Play. And you can find me in social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Yep.
It all Nina Manolson.
At Nina Manolson. Yep.
Okay. Now, I also, and if I need to change this, please let me know. But on the on the screen, I have your website as being ninamanolson.com. Is that okay?
Yes.
If they go
Nina
there?
Manolson, ninamanolson.com will go to the same place as Body Peace with Nina. So thank you for clarifying that.
And I'll have all the links in the show notes and all that good stuff. So no problem there. Nina, this has been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure. As you can see, and the people listening and watching can see, you and I can talk about this stuff for hours, I'm sure. Again, we come at it two different styles completely, but I think by going through what we did today, you and I, we think so much alike with this stuff. It's almost, I don't want to say scary is not the right word, but it's almost refreshing to have somebody.
It is. It's quite wonderful. It is quite wonderful. And I want to reflect one thing back to you, Andrew, is that what you're tapping into is exactly what we need in our 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, which is let's be our most vibrant self that's possible to us. And part of it is unlearning some of the aggressive, this is the right way to do it. So thank you for holding that space for all of us as well.
No, and thank you for helping me realize that there are different ways to present this. A lot, I don't say a lot better or worse, but totally different than my style, which is fantastic.
That's great.
So again, my guest tonight or today has been Nina Manolson from ninamanolson.com. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
For the folks watching us, please, and or listening, please contact Nina and find out all she has to offer. Great stuff over there, and we'll go from there. So once again, thank you for being the guest on Top Fitness Strategies. I want to reserve the right to always ask you to come back for another episode sometime in the future. So if that's great,
my pleasure. It would be my pleasure. Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, folks. So until next time, this is Andrew and Nina. Ciao.